Hey everybody, I'm Matt Coffey here today to talk about bow maintenance. If you're anything like me, leave the bow hanging in the garage for most of the summer without giving it a second thought, simply because hunting season is a little too far away to even think about it, and it's definitely too hot. But as it gets closer to season, especially in the upstate, about 6 weeks away, and even here in the low country, about 2 weeks away, it's a good idea to take your bow before you ever start shooting and just look over a few things to see and make sure that the heat and the extreme temperatures in your garage haven't really affected anything. The first thing I do when I pull my bow out, to shoot for the first time of the year, I'll look at the limbs here and make sure there's no cracks, make sure there's, kind of feel over, make sure there's no little bubbles or blemishes on the limbs to make, just to ensure that the heat hasn't cracked them, because that cracked limb could definitely spell problems when you go to draw first time of the year. Something else I like to do is I like to take my arrows and take a look at them and just look at each one real carefully, and I kind of do the same thing, and run my hands down the shaft of the arrow to make sure that there's no blemishes, that I can feel any obvious cracks. Check my fletching, make sure it's still glued nice and tight. That heat has a tendency with some glues to really loosen it up, which could be a problem when you shoot for the first time of the year. Fletching comes off and your arrow, you have an errant arrow, which is very frustrating, especially with your first shot of the year. So if you keep these things in mind, these little tips as far as your arrows, the limbs of your bow, as well as your string, of course, make sure that it doesn't have any fraying, which mine does a little bit here. I'll put a little wax on that to make sure. And as I shoot some this year and get a good feel, especially initially, once I get a good feel for it, I've got my anchor set and I'm hitting pretty consistently, I'll take it down to the local bow shop, have them tune it up for me and paper tune it, so I know that when I go to draw on that big buck early season, he's going to fall.